I, 28M, am the second son of a wealthy couple. My mother, who was the owner of our family business, passed away 2 years ago. Since then, my father, 60M, and older brother, 32M, have been running the company. Growing up, it was always clear that my father favored my brother. He got the best of everything: more attention, more praise, more opportunities. I tried not to let it bother me too much, but it was hard sometimes. A few months ago, I started dating a girl named Anna, 26F. Things were going well, and I was excited for her to meet my family. I took her to our family home to introduce her to my father. The meeting went better than I expected. My father seemed quite charmed by Anna. He laughed at her jokes and was very engaged in their conversation. I was happy to see them getting along so well. After that initial meeting, Anna started spending more time at our house. At first, I thought nothing of it, but then I began to notice some odd behavior. Whenever my brother was around, Anna would pay extra attention to him. She'd laugh a little too hard at his jokes, touch his arm while talking, that sort of thing. It made me feel awkward and uncomfortable. Things got stranger from there. Anna began to gaslight me, telling me I was imagining things or being paranoid when I brought up my concerns. She'd miss my calls and not bother to call back. When we were together, she seemed distracted and uninterested in what I had to say. I knew something was off, so I decided to do some digging. What I discovered broke my heart. I found out that Anna had been meeting my brother at a hotel on a regular basis. It was clear that they were having an affair behind my back. I was devastated. I couldn't believe that my own brother would do this to me. And Anna, I thought she cared about me, but it turned out she was just a gold digger who saw an opportunity to get close to my family's wealth. I decided to tell my father everything. I thought he'd be angry on my behalf, but I was wrong. Instead of supporting me, he took my brother's side. He told me I was overreacting, and that I needed to let it go. When I confronted my brother about the affair, things got even worse. Both he and my father threatened me. They said if I didn't drop it and look the other way, my father would disown me. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My own family was choosing to protect my cheating brother and his affair partner over me. I felt lost and alone. I didn't know what to do or who to turn to. In the end, I decided to leave home. I packed a bag and went to stay with my maternal uncle. I hoped he could give me some advice on how to handle this mess. Now I'm sitting in my uncle's guest room, trying to figure out what to do next. I feel betrayed by everyone: Anna, my brother, and my father. I don't know if I can ever trust them again, or if I even want to be part of this family anymore. There are a few more things that I would want to clarify. Our family owns a large real estate development firm that my mother built from scratch. When she passed, my father took over as CEO with my brother as his right-hand man. I work for the company too, but in a much lower position. It's always been clear that my brother was being groomed to take over someday. Anna and I met through mutual friends about 6 months ago. Things moved quickly, and I thought we had a great connection. Looking back, there were probably red flags I ignored because I was happy to be in a relationship. When I confronted my family about the affair, my father accused me of being jealous and trying to sabotage my brother. My brother denied everything at first, but when he realized I had proof, he switched to attacking me personally. My father made it clear that if I pursued this further, he'd cut me off financially and remove me from the company. I spent a few days trying to process everything before deciding to leave. I couldn't stand being in that house anymore, feeling like I was going crazy for being upset about the affair. I'm hoping my uncle, who's always been supportive, can give me some perspective and help me figure out my next steps. Right now, I'm a mess of emotions: angry, hurt, scared about my future. I've always worked for the family company and don't know what I'll do if I'm cut off. Part of me wants to cut ties with all of them and start fresh, but another part hopes we can work things out. I want my family to acknowledge that what happened was wrong and show some remorse. I want to feel valued and respected, not like a second-class member of my own family. I'm worried about what will happen if I go back home. Will they try to gaslight me? Pressure me to forgive without any real change? I'm also concerned about my financial future and the emotional toll this has taken. Can I ever trust anyone again? I'm not sure what to do next. Should I hire a lawyer and fight for my share of the company? Walk away and start over somewhere new? I'm hoping my uncle can help me sort through these options. Update. First, I want to thank everyone for their support and advice on my original post. Your comments helped me realize I wasn't crazy for feeling betrayed and gave me the courage to stand up for myself. A lot has happened since then, and I wanted to share an update. After spending a few days at my uncle's house, I finally felt ready to talk to him about everything that had happened. I was nervous, but I knew I needed his advice. We sat down in his study, and I poured out the whole story: Anna's betrayal, my brother's affair, and my father's threats. My uncle listened patiently, his face growing more concerned with each detail. When I finished, he was quiet for a long moment. Then he said something that changed everything. "There's something you need to know. Your mother made a will before she died. Your father and brother have been hiding it from you." I was stunned. "What? Why would they do that?" My uncle sighed. "Because according to the will, you're the majority owner of the company. Your mother left you 65% of the shares." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My mind was reeling. All this time, I'd been working in a low-level position, thinking I was lucky to have any part in the family business. And now I find out I actually own most of it? "But how do you know this?" I asked. "Your mother told me about it before she died," my uncle explained. "She was worried about how your father favored your brother and wanted to make sure you were protected. She asked me to keep an eye on things, but I never imagined your father would go this far." I felt a mix of emotions: shock, anger, and a strange sense of relief. Suddenly, my father and brother's recent behavior made more sense. They weren't just protecting my brother's affair. They were trying to keep me in the dark about my inheritance. "What should I do?" I asked my uncle. He leaned forward, his expression serious. "You need to fight for what's rightfully yours. Your mother wanted you to have this. Don't let them take it away." Over the next few days, my uncle helped me strategize. We reached out to a senior lawyer who had worked with my mother in the past. She was shocked to hear about the hidden will and agreed to help us immediately. We also contacted some of the board members who had been loyal to my mother. Many of them were surprised to learn about the will and were angry that it had been concealed. They promised to support me in asserting my rights. As we prepared our case, I realized something important. I no longer cared about Anna or her betrayal. The pain was still there, but it felt distant and unimportant compared to the larger battle I was facing. She had been a gold digger, yes, but she was just a symptom of the rot in my family. My father and brother were the real problem. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of legal meetings, document reviews, and strategy sessions. We uncovered evidence that my father and brother had deliberately concealed the will, going so far as to bribe the lawyer who had originally handled my mother's estate. When we finally confronted them with what we knew, their reactions were telling. My father turned pale and tried to bluster his way out of it, claiming he had only been doing what was best for the company. My brother, on the other hand, flew into a rage, accusing me of trying to steal his company. The legal battle was intense, but in the end, we won. The court recognized the validity of my mother's will and my right to 65% of the company's shares. My father and brother were forced to step down from their positions, pending a full investigation into their actions. I moved back into my mother's house, not the family home where my father lived, but a separate property she had owned. Being there, surrounded by her things, gave me strength. I could almost feel her presence, supporting me. As the dust settled, I found myself in a position I never expected: majority owner and de facto leader of a major real estate development firm. It was overwhelming at first. I had never been groomed for this role like my brother had, but I was determined to honor my mother's wishes and prove that her faith in me wasn't misplaced. I threw myself into learning everything I could about the business. I spent long hours poring over financial reports, meeting with department heads, and studying market trends. It was exhausting, but also exhilarating. For the first time, I felt like I was truly part of something my mother had built. The board members who had supported me were invaluable during this transition. They guided me through the complexities of running a large corporation and helped me avoid the pitfalls that often trap new leaders. I made sure to listen to their advice while also trusting my own instincts. As for my family, things remain complicated. My father has reached out several times, trying to reconcile. He claims he only hid the will because he thought I wasn't ready for the responsibility. I'm not sure I believe him, and I'm certainly not ready to forgive him yet. We're civil when we have to interact for business reasons, but that's about it. My brother, on the other hand, has become openly hostile. He's threatened to contest the will and has been spreading rumors about me to anyone who will listen. It hurts, but I'm trying not to let it distract me from the work at hand. Anna reached out once, after the news of my new position became public. She tried to play it off like the whole affair had been a misunderstanding, that she had always cared about me. I didn't bother responding. Whatever feelings I had for her are long gone, replaced by a determination to prove myself worthy of my mother's trust. These past few months have been a roller coaster of emotions and challenges. There are days when I feel overwhelmed by the responsibility, when I doubt whether I'm cut out for this role. But then I remember my mother, how hard she worked to build this company, and I find the strength to keep going. I'm not the same person I was when I wrote that first post. I've learned hard lessons about trust, family, and the lengths some people will go to for money and power. But I've also discovered a strength in myself that I never knew I had. Looking ahead, I have big plans for the company. I want to honor my mother's legacy while also putting my own stamp on things. We're exploring new markets, investing in sustainable development practices, and looking at ways to give back to the communities we build in. I've also started a scholarship program in my mother's name, aimed at helping young people from underprivileged backgrounds get into real estate and business. It feels good to use my newfound position to make a positive difference. As for my personal life, I'm taking things slow. The betrayal by Anna and my family has made me cautious about trusting others, but I'm working on it, with the help of a therapist. I'm focusing on building genuine friendships and relationships based on mutual respect, not wealth or status. There are still challenges ahead. My brother continues to cause problems, and navigating the business world is a daily learning experience. But for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm on the right path. To those who are facing similar situations, betrayal by family or partners, hidden truths, or sudden responsibilities, I want to say this: you're stronger than you know. Trust your instincts, seek help from those who truly care about you, and don't be afraid to fight for what's right. Thank you again to everyone who offered advice and support. Your words gave me the courage to stand up for myself and uncover the truth. I'm grateful for this community and the perspective it's given me. As I sit in my office, looking out over the city my mother helped build, I feel a mix of emotions: pride in what I've accomplished, sadness for the relationships I've lost, and hope for the future. It's not the life I imagined for myself, but I'm determined to make the most of it. I know there will be more challenges ahead. Running a company isn't easy, and the scars from my family's betrayal won't heal overnight. But I'm ready to face whatever comes my way. My mother believed in me, and I won't let her down. For those wondering about the legal consequences, my father and brother are currently under investigation for fraud and breach of fiduciary duty. It's a painful process, but necessary to ensure the company's integrity going forward. I've made it clear that I'm willing to work with them if they take responsibility for their actions. But so far, they've shown little remorse. The company itself is doing well, despite the turmoil at the top. Our employees have been remarkably resilient, and I'm grateful for their dedication. I've made it a priority to improve communication and transparency throughout the organization. No more hidden agendas or secret deals. On a personal note, I've reconnected with some old friends who reached out after hearing about everything that happened. It's been comforting to have people around who knew me before all this wealth and drama. They help keep me grounded and remind me of who I really am. As for Anna, I heard through mutual friends that she's moved on to another wealthy family in town. Part of me feels like I should warn them, but I've decided to stay out of it. I've got enough on my plate without getting involved in her schemes. Looking back at my original post, I barely recognize that version of myself. I was so unsure, so willing to let others dictate my worth. Now I understand what my mother saw in me all along: the potential to lead, to make tough decisions, to stand up for what's right. Don't get me wrong, I still have moments of doubt. There are nights when I lie awake, wondering if I'm doing the right thing or if I'm in over my head. But then I remember all I've overcome, and I find the strength to face another day. To anyone out there facing a similar situation, whether it's family drama, hidden truths, or unexpected responsibilities, remember this: you are capable of more than you know. Trust yourself, seek out those who truly support you, and don't be afraid to fight for what's yours. Thank you again, Reddit, for being there when I needed guidance. Your support made a real difference in my life, and I'm grateful for this community. Here's to facing the future with courage and integrity, no matter what it brings.